Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. Today, we're going to continue season number 3. We're going to wrap up the month of June, get into early July. Our Orioles are still playing strong baseball. We're 41-27. Certainly one of the biggest surprises this season in a positive way. Our Orioles are 3.5 games ahead of Toronto for first place in the division. And I do want to show you guys all the standings real quick, just so you can get like an updated look at it all. The Twins currently lead the Central, the White Sox 7 games back, and the Angels and Astros are very close in the AL West. The White Sox and Blue Jays are currently the top 2 wild cards in the American League, with a lot of teams in the race. The Mets, Cardinals, and Dodgers currently lead their respective divisions, with the Braves and Diamondbacks currently as the wild cards, with the Cubs, Nationals, and Giants close behind. Our lineup is still doing very well. Obviously, we have a lot of young players in here, and we went through a lot of different storylines last episode, such as talking about Adley Rutschman as a potential superstar. We talked about Louis St. John's all-star chances, which is certainly remarkable considering he is a teenager. The pitching has certainly been a little bit more up and down. We have had some guys start to play better, like Eduardo Rodriguez and John Means, but the pitching still has been definitely a mixed bag. I do want to make a few roster moves to shuffle some things up. I want to talk about a player on the trade block real quick first, and that's Gleyber Torres of the Yankees. Torres is a free agent at the end of the year. Clearly, they don't want to pay him. That's why he's on the trade block. And I'm not saying I'm going to make a trade for Gleyber Torres today, but he's a player I want to watch out for. I know this is an interdivision team that we're talking about with the Yankees, but Gleyber Torres could be a really interesting addition, so it's just something to consider. I do have a few other trades I want to make today. The first one is a small one. It's a minor league swap. We're going to be acquiring relief pitching prospect Victor Vodnik from the Braves in exchange for outfield prospect Christopher Cespedes. We are loaded in the farm system when it comes to outfielders, but I wanted more relief depth. That's why I made that trade. I also wanted to add an established bench bat to the major league team, and that's what we're going to be doing here in a trade with the Chicago White Sox. We're going to be giving them a pair of pitching prospects in Eric Ullman and Diogenes Almengo, along with backup catcher Chance Sisco. Sisco is a player I've been planning on trading for a while, but since we are kind of acquiring a catcher here, I figured now would be a good time to do it, and the White Sox kind of need a new backup catcher with their current backup, Zach Collins, injured. The player we're acquiring is the Yerminator himself, Yermin Mercedes. Mercedes has not played a lot this year, only 70 at-bats. He is only hitting .214, not doing all that well in those 70 at-bats, but I really like what he brings to the table. Not only his attributes, but obviously, you know, his swagger. He's a very fun player, and I think I want to add someone else who can possibly be consistent for our lineup. We're also going to make a few inter-organizational moves. We're going to call up Reynaldo Lopez to the big league team because he's been cooking in AAA, and we're going to send Max Meyer down. Meyer is still not doing well. His ERA has crept up into the 7s, and I think he needs to go down in AAA for a bit just so he can get his act together, and hopefully we'll call him up, say, by the trade deadline. I'm also going to be sending Adrian Almeida down, and I'm going to be calling Seranthony Dominguez up. Since both of them have already had minor league options used this year, if we send them up and down, we won't use minor league options on them. So Almeida and Dominguez will pretty much be shuffling throughout the Major League team and AAA throughout the season. I also went out into the free agent market, and I signed a few guys to add to the farm system, including relief pitching prospect Willie Cruz, who was with the organization last year, so he's a guy we're familiar with. I signed 28-year-old relief prospect Rocky Strickland and 23-year-old outfielder Lionel Rangel. I don't think any of these guys really have major league futures, but they do provide good organizational depth, so that's why I signed them. Let's take a look at the new look team. Yermin Mercedes will be the DH against lefties, and Reynaldo Lopez will be the long reliever for now. Eliezer Hernandez will return to the rotation. So I simulated to this Astros series at the end of the last episode because I really wanted to play them. They are a pretty good team at 38-32, and I wanted to see how we would fare against a good team like the Astros. So here is game 1 of a 3-game set at home at Camden Yards against the Houston Astros, where we will get to see the Orioles debut of Yermin Mercedes. He will mainly play against lefties. but in both games today, we faced off against righties, and I wanted to use him, so he's going to be in the lineup for both games today. No Marco Luciano for Baltimore. He's getting the day off, and Luis Aviles Jr. will play it short. So this will be Eliezer Hernandez's 10th start of the year. He has rotated throughout the starting rotation in the bullpen, and he's been fine. He hasn't been bad. I wouldn't say he's been great either. I think he's been about average. With one away, he faces off against Miles Straw, who goes down looking on the two-seam fastball. Nice pitch by Eliezer Hernandez. And we will travel to the bottom half of the inning where we get a look at Lance McCullers, who's been pretty inconsistent for the Astros this season. He hasn't been terrible, but he also hasn't been great either. He faces off against Adley Rutschman, who lofts this one deep in right center field. Back at the track at the wall. See ya. That one is gone. Solo home run for Adley Rutschman, who continues his dominance at the plate. And I mentioned in the last episode that we need to start addressing him as a superstar, because that's what he is. A guy who hits for good power, great contact, phenomenal behind the dish. What can't he do? At this point, he might be the best catcher in baseball. It has been a pleasure to watch his progression as the Orioles lead 1-0. Top of the second, Michael Brantley goes down looking. A big strikeout for Eliezer Hernandez. That was a full count pitch, too. Bottom of the second. Welcome to Baltimore, Yerman. A bat flip for Yerman Mercedes. His first at bat as an Oriole is a solo home run. Quite the statement to make on your new team. A 428-foot nuke for Yerman Mercedes. And the Yerminator will double the Baltimore lead. It's now 2-0. With one away, here is Ryan Mountcastle. Actually, the very next batter gets that one into the right center gap. It will drop for extra bases. The center fielder, Miles Straw, chasing after it. But that'll be a double for Ryan Mountcastle, who has obviously been a little bit disappointing offensively this year. But he's had a pretty good month of June. It seems like Mountcastle's really picking things up. Couple of batters later, it's the second baseman, Jalen Miller, with an opportunity to drive a run in. And he's going to do just that, going oppo-popo. That one into right. Kyle Tucker's throw to second is not in time. An RBI double for Jalen Miller. And the Orioles will extend their lead. It's now 3-0. And the manager's going to have a talk with his pitcher. Is Baltimore done, though? The answer appears to be no, as Max Muncy singles into right. Miller headed home, and the throw is offline. So Jalen Miller will score an RBI single from Max Muncy. And the Orioles offense has gotten off to a great start in this game. They lead 4-0. Eliezer Hernandez has also gotten off to a great start. His third strikeout today. All of them have been strikeouts looking, for what it's worth. And then with two away, Corey Lee, the catcher, will fly this one out into right. 3 perfect innings for Eliezer Hernandez. I don't want to jump the gun yet, but he is on pace for a, well, perfect game. I'm going to say it. Top of the fourth now, Miles Straw up with one out, 2-2. Another strikeout looking. These guys don't even want to swing the bat against Eliezer Hernandez. The player who I would be most worried about breaking the perfect game bid is Yordan Alvarez, and it looks like that's going to be exactly what happens. That should have been an easy flyout, but Louis St. John completely misplayed it. St. John showing that he is not a great defender, as we all know, despite his obviously impressive offensive start. And the bad defensive play will cost the Orioles a run, as Alex Bregman will rip an RBI double. Alvarez will score, and the Houston Astros are now on the board, as it is a 4-1 ball game. Let's go to the bottom of the fourth inning. Ryan Mountcastle already has a hit today. He's going to go down this time on the high sinker. Lance McCullers is really pitching a lot better since the second inning. He definitely seems to have gotten into a groove. Now facing off against Luis Aviles Jr. A great defensive play by McCullers, possibly robbing Aviles of a base hit. 2 straight shutout innings from McCullers, and we go to the fifth. The first baseman, Scott Murray III, goes down on the slider. Nice pitch for Hernandez, his 5th strikeout of the game, but he's not done. Here against Wilmer Flores, he's just a window shopper. Say it with me, kids. You know the line, because he's just looking. 5 great innings for Eliezer Hernandez, who is not showing any signs of slowing down. Bottom of the 5th now. Here is Max Muncy with one away. Gets that one. And it will be a great diving effort out there in short. But Muncy will reach first base in time, so he will reach here for Louis St. John, who hits that one high and pretty deep into straightaway center field. Straw at the track at the wall, and it is caught. Not quite a home run there for Louis St. John. 3 straight scoreless frames for McCullers. He would be taken out after the 5th inning. So let's go to the 6th now. It's Miles Straw up. Gets that one into the right center gap. He's going to try to head for second. The throw from Elliot Ramos is going to be in time. Part-time ball player, full-time sniper. What a throw by Elliot Ramos to get the out. And the score remains 4-1 through the top of the 6th. Into the bottom half of the inning, it's Austin Pruitt who will check in for Houston. He's had a pretty fine season, 3 ERA in 12 innings. Certainly not bad at all. His first batter, Elliot Ramos, with a deep shot into left field. That one is out of here. I think the Astros kind of regret taking McCullers out. McCullers had 3 straight shutout innings. He was really pitching well, so I was surprised when they did remove him from the game so early, and clearly that was a mistake. Top 7, Yordan Alvarez leading off for the Astros. He beats the shift perfectly. That's going to be a double for Alvarez. Eliezer Hernandez still in the game, by the way. His pitch count is creeping up, but the Orioles hope to get another inning out of him. 2 away for Scott Murray. 3-2. Flies this one into right, and it will be caught by Kjerstad. 7 strong for Eliezer Hernandez. We'll go to the bottom half of the inning. Marco Luciano will enter the game as a pinch hitter for the shortstop Luis Aviles Jr. Luciano will take over from here as he goes down looking on the nasty inside slider. He thought that was ball 4, but the umpire behind the dish says otherwise. Here is the second baseman, Jalen Miller, now 1-1 pitch. Hits this one into shallow right field. Tucker chasing after it. What a catch by Kyle Tucker, saving what would have been a base hit for Jalen Miller. And we're going to move to the top of the 8th. No pitching change for Baltimore. Eliezer Hernandez still in as Corey Lee will fly out to left. LSJ makes the play, and that'll do it for a marvelous performance from Eliezer Hernandez. 8 innings, only allowing 4 hits and 1 run. He was incredible in this game. Let's go to the top of the 9th now. Seranthony Dominguez in to finish things off. He has been shaky with the big league team this year. His ERA is at about 20, but he has pitched a lot better as the year has gone on. His first batter, Jose Altuve, who's had a quiet game, draws a walk, not an ideal start. Miles Straw then strikes out. That's a big one for Seranthony Dominguez. Yordan Alvarez would also go down swinging, and then that'll bring up Alex Bregman. 1-1 pitch, flies it out to right. Kjerstad makes the play, and the Orioles win this one by the final score of 5-1. A great performance on the mound for Eliezer Hernandez. He was electric in this one for the Orioles. The Astros offense really just did nothing, to be totally honest. They just were not good at all. The pitching was fine. Lance McCullers struggled early, but he pitched it up. He pitched better down the stretch, and our offense, despite a hot start, really didn't do all that well after the 2nd inning, but it didn't matter because Eliezer Hernandez was just too doggone good. So we're going to simulate a little bit forward here. We're going to simulate the rest of this Astros series. We're also going to simulate 3 against the Cleveland. Am I supposed to call them the Guardians now or still the Indians? We're just going to call them Cleveland. We would do pretty well in that stretch, and I specifically wanted to get to this Toronto series because the Blue Jays are our biggest competition currently for the AL East. We're going to simulate the first 2 games of this series. I wanted to play the last one, get to use Eduardo Rodriguez. We would end up going 1-1 in the first 2 games. We lost the first one, we won the second one. So that'll bring us to the 3rd one. Can we get a much-needed interdivision series win against the Toronto Blue Jays? I know we're only in the month of July, and not a lot of these games are overly important in the grand scheme of things, but I think this one is, because the Orioles definitely want to win this series. They don't want Toronto to get momentum in this race to win the division, and especially winning a road series for Baltimore would be very, very significant. Again, Yerman Mercedes in the lineup. He will be behind the dish. Adley Rutschman's energy level was a little bit low, so he's going to DH today instead of starting at catcher. Trent Thornton will be starting for Toronto. He's been fairly below average this year, not great by any stretch. We're going to start this game in the top half of the 2nd inning. Neither offense really did anything impressive in the first, as Thornton takes on Elliot Ramos, who has a drive deep into left center field. It does not have the distance to carry over the fence, but it will drop for an extra base hit. A double for Elliot Ramos, who now reaches scoring position. Ramos has really played well the past few weeks or so. He's giving Louis St. John a run for his money in the AL Rookie of the Year voting. Jalen Miller, the following batter, rips a single in the left. The throw from Teoscar Hernandez is not in time, so the run scores, and the Orioles now lead 1-0. Big single for Jalen Miller, who is second on the team in RBIs this year. There's a chance he reaches over 100. Eduardo Rodriguez will be starting for the Orioles. He's pitched really, really well the past month or so as he faces off against Randall Grichuk with a runner on and one out. Grichuk gets that into right center gap. That'll go for extra bases. Teoscar Hernandez will score from first. An RBI double for Grichuk, and both teams will drive in a pair here in the second inning as Toronto will make it 1-1. A big hit for Grichuk. Top three now. Thornton taking on Max Muncy, 1-2. He goes down looking on the inside fastball. That did not look like a strike, but Angel Hernandez behind the dish says otherwise. Bottom three, lefty on lefty crime here. That's a nasty outside cutter. Bo Naylor has no chance on that one. Rodriguez up to 4 strikeouts on the day. Can he get his 5th right here? He sure does. He gets the flowing Bo Bichette, to go down on the changeup. And he's going to get one more. It's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on the inside fastball. A great inning for Eduardo Rodriguez, who looks very good up to this point. And we're going to move a little bit forward to the top of the 4th. Adley Rutschman is up for Baltimore. 2-1 count with 2 outs. And Rutschman will get this one to rope fair and to right. That one will go for extra bases. Rutschman sliding safely into second. I figured that he would come back down to earth a little bit. No, he's still hitting like 350. He has still just been unbelievable at the plate. Can Elliot Ramos drive him in? He got a double in his first at-bat, and he hits this one very nicely into left, but Teoscar Hernandez will make the play, and the score will remain tied at 1. Let's go to the bottom of the 4th, where things would get kind of interesting, as Rodriguez's first batter is George Springer, who will fly this one out to center. Elliot Ramos makes the play. Pretty simple, right? Not so much. On that play, Eduardo Rodriguez actually got injured. I accidentally closed the pop-up too early because I didn't realize he got hurt. And I want to look at the play again. I want to see if anything seemed off with his throwing motion. And no, the pitch seems fine. He seems to be acting fine. So I'm not really sure what happened, but this is definitely a concern. He's going to be removed from the game, and Reynaldo Lopez will enter. Lopez is a 5.4 ERA in limited action out of the bullpen so far, and he's going to have to pick up for Eduardo Rodriguez, who was really playing well before he got hurt. Teoscar Hernandez strikes out. A good start for Lopez, fooling him on the low curveball. And then we will go to the 5th inning. 1-1, still the score. Jalen Miller leading things off. He gets fooled, swinging way too early on the outside splitter. Trent Thornton's had a really solid game for Toronto. Both starters did. Obviously, Rodriguez has had him come out early, unfortunately, but point remains. Heston Kjerstad goes down looking on the fastball. I do want to give Kjerstad some credit. That was a 9-pitch at bat, but it ended as a strikeout. Bottom of the 5th, it's the 19-year-old second baseman, Mariano Escobar, going down on the curveball. A filthy pitch from Reynaldo Lopez, who has looked just fine coming in relief for Eduardo Rodriguez. And you have to keep in mind, Lopez didn't even warm up. He wasn't loose or anything. He was not warming up in the pen at all. He then strikes out Bo Naylor, and so far, smooth sailing for Reynaldo Lopez as we travel into the 6th. Toronto will make a pitching change. I'm surprised they took Thornton out so early. And it's Braylon Marquez who will enter, former top prospect with the Cubs. Didn't really pan out there. The Blue Jays hoping that he will with them, as the first batter of the inning would be Max Muncy, and he's going to reach base. A bad defensive play by Kevin Biggio. They're going to call that a base hit rather than an error, which kind of surprised me because there's no way he would have been, safe. Biggio makes up for it on the very next at-bat with a diving grab, stealing a base hit away from Marco Luciano. Two-way now for Ryan Mountcastle. That'll go over the head of the first baseman, Rowdy Tellez. Louis St. John, who reached base from a fielder's choice, will go on his horse to third. So now there's runners on the corners. A big opportunity for Adley Rutschman, who hits that one high and somewhat deep into right center field. But George Springer makes the play. Springer's had a very busy day in the outfield. I know I haven't shown a lot of Baltimore's outs today, but there were a lot of flyouts to center field in this game. Bottom of the 6th, the Orioles turn the 4-6-3 double play off of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Reynaldo Lopez has pitched 2 2/3 scoreless innings, and we go to the 7th, still tied at 1. Elliot Ramos goes down looking on the fastball. That pitch was right down the middle. I don't know what he was looking for, because that pitch was a beauty. Bottom 7 now, still tied at 1. George Springer goes down on the slider. Reynaldo Lopez still pitching exceptionally well today. The next batter, Teoscar Hernandez, goes down on the curveball. Reynaldo Lopez is just on fire right now. If he keeps pitching like this, he's going to have to enter the rotation. Heath Hembree is in for Toronto in the 8th inning. No runs in this game since the 2nd inning. Liam Bumaye is up. He should not have swung at that pitch, but he's going to get a base hit as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. does not get the throw off. Bumaye subbed in for Yerman Mercedes. The Orioles wanted someone a little bit more consistent with speed, and, well, that's exactly what they're going to get. That'll bring up Max Muncy. Runner on, nobody out, and Muncy with a bomb in right field into the bullpen. A home run for Muncy, who is fired up. His 25th of the year. He is currently 2nd among the American League in home runs, only behind Toronto's very own Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who has 28. A huge hit for Muncy, and the Orioles will finally get back on the scoreboard. It's now 3-1, but they're not done. The very next batter, Marco Luciano, with a no-doubter and a bat flip. Solo shot for Luciano, a 433-foot towering shot, his 9th home run of the year. And it's safe to say Heath Hembree would be taken out very quickly. In his 3 at-bats, he allowed a hit, a home run, and another home run. The longtime LA Dodger, Kenley Jansen, will enter to try to clean this mess up. The first batter he faces is Louis St. John, who will not keep the home run streak going, but he will get a base hit as that one goes into the left field corner. A double for the speedy Louis St. John. The Orioles have one of their fastest base runners in scoring position with nobody out. LSJ is on an 8-game hitting streak, by the way. I think the last game he didn't get a hit was the first game we played today against the Astros. Next batter, Ryan Mountcastle keeps it going. Single into center, nearly took Kenley Jansen's head off. Louis St. John will score with no problem, and the Orioles now lead 5-1. That'll bring up Adley Rutschman, trying to keep the impressive start to the inning alive, as that's going to be a weak dribbler. Kenley Jansen will make the play. Of all the guys to be the first one out, I would not have expected it to be Adley Rutschman, but there you go. On the bright side, Mountcastle advanced to 2nd, and on the next at-bat, he would advance to 3rd. So now the Orioles have a runner 90 feet away from home for the second baseman, Jalen Miller, who hits that one high and quite deep into left center. Does it have the carry? Does it? Not quite. George Springer makes the play at the warning track. But still a great inning for the Orioles. A pair of home runs from Muncy and Luciano. They drove in another one as well, and they now lead 5-1. Reynaldo Lopez will stay in the game, and I do want to point out, since we subbed out the designated hitter and we had to make Adley Rutschman a catcher because we can't have Liam Bumaye behind the dish, pretty much we now need our pitcher to hit. Well, kind of, not really. It's kind of like we're a National League team now. We don't have a DH anymore for the rest of the game, as Mariano Escobar will strike out, and then to finish off the inning, Bo Naylor will fly out to right. An incredible performance for Reynaldo Lopez in very strange circumstances, with Eduardo Rodriguez getting hurt and Lopez not even loose. 4 2/3 innings. I think he allowed 1 base runner. Just really incredible stuff. We're going to go to the top of the 9th inning. Ryan Borucki will enter for the Toronto Blue Jays. His first batter is Heston Kjerstad, little lefty-on-lefty crime. And Kjerstad's going to keep the hit parade rolling as he gets a single into left field. The Orioles will enter a pinch hitter for the pitcher. Never thought I'd say that at an American League park, but here we are. It's going to be Luis Aviles Jr. who grounds that one to Biggio, who makes a great play, turning 2. Big out there for Toronto, and they'll only be down 4 going into the bottom of the 9th, right? Right? Well, Max Muncy has something to say about that with a moonshot straight away center field. Just a bomb from Max Muncy. One of the deepest home runs you'll ever see. 442 feet, and it is now 6-1. That might be the icing on the cake. Muncy with his 26th home run of the season. And we'll go to the bottom of the 9th. Travis Lakin Sr. will be the pitcher entering the ball game for Baltimore, and he's just going to try to cruise through this inning. Just don't allow 5 runs, and you'll be fine. With 2 away, he faces off against Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who grounds this one to short. Luciano fields it cleanly to first, and the Orioles win this series. A big 6-1 win here over the Toronto Blue Jays. Certainly a strange game. Not a lot of offense for either side through the first 7 innings, and then we just outright exploded. Max Muncy went deep twice in the final 2 innings of this game. He drove in 3 runs. We had 13 hits today. At least 8 or 9 of those came in the final 2 innings. The pitching, again, was great. Rodriguez, when he was healthy, was good. We'll check on his injury status in a little bit. Reynaldo Lopez was unbelievable. He was awesome in this game. And in the games that I've played this year, our pitching hasn't been very good. So it's kind of refreshing to have back-to-back games, the first one being the Astros one earlier today, and now this one, where the pitching was really good in both of them. Thankfully, Eduardo Rodriguez's injury would not be very serious. He pulled a back muscle. I don't know if he did it while he was throwing or if it was after the play, but he's not going to miss a start, long story short. That'll end today's episode. Next time, we will go over international free agency, and we will also go up to the All-Star break. The All-Star break is going to be really fun this year. Max Muncy is probably going to play in the Home Run Derby. We're going to have a few guys in the All-Star game as well, so it should be fun. Hope everybody enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace out.